Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to another Warframe Revisited video here on the channel. Now this is the 8th one, and this is the second half of the second dream. So if you haven't seen the first half, I suggest you watch that first, and if obviously you're not there on the story, please make sure that you catch up on the rest of the playlist. Now, goes without saying, there will be spoilers. So, as you can see in front of us, the moon is back. Now, as we saw in part 1, the moon was thought to have been destroyed, but the Lotus had hidden it away in the void. And on the moon is the Reservoir, the secret to the Tenno's power. So, got to head there now to go and protect the moon. So, Lure is now added to our star chart. Now, normally, obviously, you wouldn't have all of them unlocked, but I do because, obviously, I'm a little bit ahead. But, the second dream, protect the moon. Corpus versus Grenier, 28 to 30. And obviously there will be sentient threats on this because we've unlocked the sentience now, good and proper. Now, for those of you who don't know as well, this particular part of the quest now is where we unlock a quite critical piece of music for the game, which is called This Is What You Are. Now that is the piece of music that has what sounds like a mother and her children call and response, which is supposed to represent the Lotus and the Tenno. And just to give an example, it goes, ah. So if you've heard that, which you probably have heard on my Orbiter, that is exactly what that is. It is to do with this quest.
The Stalker is heading toward the Void Control Room. Track this.
Collapse the Void, Shadow, so that my fragments may attack. The Tenno hearts will beat their last.
No. If the Void is collapsed, the Reservoir will be destroyed, and you and the rest of the Tenno will be lost. Get to the Void Control Room and stop the Stalker.
Hiding the moon in the void. Quite the magic trick, Lotus. But Tenno, you must be asking yourself, where is this heart, if not in my chest?
Honestly, Allah does raise like a brilliant question there.
It is time. The moon will be crushed by the weight of the void. The sky will be as it should be.
Void collapse. Oh no. It would be such a shame to lose the moon so soon after finding it. Of course, you could just put it back in its rightful place, couldn't you, Lotus?
So at this point in time, Lotus is kind of forced with a decision. Like, either she, you know, how do I say this? Either she puts the moon back in the night sky of Earth, or the void will completely and utterly crush the moon and the Reservoir and the Tenno within. So Lotus is forced to make a very, very critical decision here.
I didn't want to have to do this, but the collapse is imminent. If the Reservoir is to survive, we need to pull the moon out of the void. Here, help me disrupt the void compasses to reorient the moon. There are 3 void compasses that steer the moon within the void. I will disconnect them from the central system to gain control. Supply them with power from your shields while I finish my task.
Nata, you trust this Orokin blood with chiseled weapons from our bones?
Get close to the void compass.
Honestly. The Stalker makes this just so much more annoying. So if we fire off a Stalker, then he can't chase after us, which enables us to power up the compasses without fear of him hurting us, because obviously disrupting the compasses drains our shields, and if we had that plus the Stalker, there's a chance we could die. So if we just do this really quickly.
The void compasses are all disrupted, but there is one more step. Get to the pendulum. Hurry.
What was that?
Orkin, the noise you make will cease now and forever.
Uh-oh, Hanhouse found me. Sorry I can't stick around to see how this all ends, but I've got to save my own skin. Don't forget our dear Lotus.
So yeah, that's the end of Alad.
These pendula keep the moon stable in the void. Power them down.
So yeah, this is a tough bit. I always struggled with the security eye. We've got to get it to charge up and then try and shoot at us. But we've got to get it to hit the 4 towers. And try to avoid it hitting us. Just easier said than done.
Wait, the security eye just destroyed a pendulum. Try and trick it into taking out the rest.
I forgot that the security icon also has other attacks as well.
That's it. The eye is taking out the pendula. Keep it up. Last one.
It's doing another attack. Once it's done that, hopefully it'll come back around here and we can just get it to blast the last tower.
It's done. The moon is falling out of the void. Hold on. This will not be a smooth ride. Get to extraction as quickly as possible.
So, the moon is now on its way out of the void, which is going to be rough.
No, Palace. No more destruction. We could heal them. Maybe they're meant to save us.
How can you defend these devils, Margulis, after what they've done to you?
Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind. They won't hurt anyone. I just need more time.
Hush, my wilted love. I cannot protect you. Tomorrow you must be honest with us.
It has developed immunity to your attacks. Try something
So,
different.
that was the first time we hear about Margulis and Ballas, which is where we actually start to learn a little bit more about the Tenno's past, and about the Old War, and about the Oricon Empire themselves. So, as you can see, as you heard there, Ballas was sort of slating these people that he claims were not human anymore. Margulis was defending them, but Ballas was basically saying she must renounce them before the Seven, and the Seven was sort of like the Oricon executors. Now, this is linking to the Tenno in a way, which you'll see in the next mission a little bit more, and over the next few quests, such as not so much Octavia's Anthem, but War Within, definitely, Chains of Harrow to an extent, but specifically Apostasy Prologue and the Sacrifice.
The moon is back in normal space, but the reservoir is in more danger than ever. Hun Hao will send his fighters, and the Stalker is still coming for you. Move now.
So, we just completed Protect the Moon. But now we have to do the most important mission of all. And this is the only mission in this whole quest that must be completed solo. The second dream, save the reservoir. Now, as I say, if you are doing this quest, if you've never done this quest before, this specific mission now is solo only. So if you've had a friend helping you, try to get you through some of the earlier quests to get you towards the new war, to get your new war ready, this particular mission now, they cannot help you with it. At this point, you've got to do this one on your own, but that's not too much of an issue because, as you'll see now, the fighting is pretty simple. There's not really much of it.
We saved the moon from a void collapse, but Hun Hao can now attack the reservoir directly. He must not reach this sacred place.
Shadow, bleed the reservoir until it is desert dry.
I really don't like Hun Hao. So here we also meet a new type of sentient that we haven't met before. So we've seen Conculists,
Destroy your shame.
but now we've got Battalists, and these ones actually will shoot you. So
Sentient fighters can adapt to your attacks. Hit them with something else.
This will stop the voices from taking hold. You will have to train my angel.
So shame on you! You Orican! So perfect on the outside, but more prodded through and through!
Seven hands raised. For your apostasy, the judgment is death. Margulis, why?
So as you just heard, Margulis tried to defend the Tenno, tried to save the Tenno, and called us her angels. Like, she was the mother figure of the Tenno, but because she tried to defend them, the 7 executors all voted that she was to die. And in the end, Margulis was executed because of her actions to defend them.
It's about the other rejects we consigned to Lua a few years ago. They're calling it transference. I know we are desperate, Executor, but these aren't Dark soldiers. These are golems possessed by devil minds.
So basically, the Orokin then tried to weaponize the Tenno using a thing called transference. Now, at this point in time, I'm not going to mention much about transference because we will see a lot more of that, particularly in the War Within. However, as you just heard, Ballas was completely against the idea. He didn't want the Tenno weaponized because he literally just called the Tenno golems with devil minds. He didn't like them at all. But as you can see here as well, that blue floating thing, these are Orokin. These are like the remnants of Orokin civilians that just exist. Float around doing nothing. But that's not what we're here to see. we're here for arguably quite an impressive little feat. I remember when I did this for the first time, I was pretty much screaming when I walked into this room. That music is very tense, isn't it? And here it is, the reservoir. So if we walk down these stairs and head towards it, we now have a cutscene where we finally learn the truth, the real story that the Lotus has been hiding from us all this time. And here it is, just like a lotus flower itself. We emerge from the reservoir. And as you can hear the music, this is what you are, just like I said. As you can see, there's a figure in that chair that's just fallen out, but now that it's fallen, we've fallen.
Dream. Not of what
My
you
favourite
are,
quote this is, dream not of what you are,
but of what you want to be.
but of what you want to be. And here is where we see the true bond. But there he is, a stalker. And he could kill us here, but he chooses not to.
You hesitate, Shadow, but remember your despair. This is your only chance to make it end. Your hatred is too weak, Shadow. Mine is strong. My fragments will finish this.
So now,
Tenno. Operator. You're awake now, but you're more vulnerable than ever. Get back to your ship, now. You need to focus your mind to unleash your true power.
so the Tenno operator itself, which is what my Volt Prime is carrying, this is the true Tenno. And the Tenno, as you can see, he can raise his hand and shoot a beam of pure energy that just destroys the sentience. We're going to slowly make our way out to extraction. And this power, this raw power he possesses in his hand, that is why the Tenno were known as gods. These omnipotent beings of sheer raw power. This is that power. So now we extract, but it is not the end. And so there is a special extra bit afterwards that you wouldn't be able to just sort of end it here, if you know what I mean. You sort of, as you extract, you have to then do this. So there's no sort of pausing or ending this. As you can see, you've still got health bars and stuff.
I don't know how much time you have. Descend into the heart of your orbiter. There you will find the Somatic Link.
So normally on the left down here, you have your helmet. In the middle room, you would now gain access to what is called the Somatic Link.
Stalker, how? Get past him. Get to the link.
So as you can see, his attacks push us back. So we've got to blast at his attacks.
Focus, Tenno. Use your energy to breathe life into the Somatic Link.
So we've got to charge the actual Somatic Link as well. So it's quite a simple enough thing to do.
Again, it needs more power.
So at this point, we've got a third and final time.
One more time.
Shadow, only the Tenno's death will end your despair.
Focus your energy. Get past it.
No self, no sense, no death. Just a metal puppet dangling on Tenno strings. Only the Tenno's death will end your despair. All your dread-long life, you've waited for this moment. But you're asking yourself, was I one of these wretched things? You know the answer. You still hate them.
So as you can see, Stalker's basically trying to choke us, but he's got the actual sentient pieces on his body.
What is this? Shadow, protect me.
So as you saw, Volt ripped the sword out of him, but tore the sword in half, which has pretty much ended Hunhow, and the Stalker has now disappeared. But still not over. She has arrived, and she is here to keep us safe. Our Spacemon, our Lotus.
fight on two fronts, my child. The war without, and the war within. My child, so beautiful to behold. How do you feel?
I'm confused.
So normally you would have made your Tenno in like a cutscene, but I've already made mine.
Forgive me. This is who you really are, a Tenno. More than human, but once a child like any other. What do you remember?
So you can remember always studying, a fight, or a hand held in mind abroad, the Zariman. Now I'm going to go for the Zariman option.
The soft lines of a hand. My mother's, I think. We were watching the stars, awaiting the jump to Tau. She was afraid.
Memories. From your time aboard the Zariman 10-0, before the void jump accident. It was years before the ship was recovered. It was drifting dead in space. All her crew gone, except the children.
It's a horrible story, this is.
I didn't want to live anymore. I just felt guilty that I was
For a
alive.
child to be saying
We
that.
could do things. Extraordinary things. Maybe there was a reason we survived.
You were so brave, but the Orokin were afraid of you. The void had changed you, and you couldn't control it. No one could. They were about to destroy the orphans of 10-0, but Margulis, she loved you. She found a way.
We couldn't help it. The outlaws. We hurt her, blinded her, but even then she never abandoned us. In the dream we found peace, and she sang to us in that cold, dark.
The Orokin murdered Margulis, used her work to create transference. Your mind projected into a surrogate strong enough to withstand your power. It felt like waking up, but it was just a lucid second dream.
We fought with honor.
We must have known. I remembered what it was like to be afraid, to be weak. I vowed never to forget that, never to abuse what I had been given. I had code.
And so you became Tenno, serving the Orokin, but bound by honor. As the Tenno grew, they founded great schools, the Tenno ways. Do
So
you
I've already
see
chosen
yours?
mine
I
before.
see a cresting wave, wide in the ocean, the Vazarin way. We were trained to counter the enemy and move with an opponent's attacks in order to nullify them.
Vazarin will be your focus. But we have so much more to do. Here in the Orbiter, transference will be even stronger. Command the Warframes. Make whole this shattered world you've been given. Are you ready, Tenno?
Yes, Lotus. I am.
And at that point in time, that was the end of the second dream. We knew who we were. The Tenno. Just children. Children who had been through so much, who had lost so much, who had to pretty much defend themselves by killing their own parents with their new powers just to survive. Children whose powers were so strong they couldn't control them. Children who could hear voices. Children who had lost everything. And at the end of the day, the Tenno, they haven't half been through an awful lot, but now they prepare for a new fight, the new war. But before they get there, there's a few more quests they've got to go through on the way. So, with that in mind, Tenno, that was the second dream. I hope you enjoyed the video. Found it informative, enjoyable and fun to watch. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the next one.